The subscription economy is this idea that we're not buying things anymore. We're not buying products, we're not buying stuff. We don't buy DVDs, instead we subscribe to services like Spotify. We don't really buy software and install it and deal with the servers, instead we subscribe to things like Salesforce and Google. When a lot of people think about subscriptions, they think of the same products they have today, and they think about paying for it over time. So instead of buying a dishwasher once, maybe you pay $10 a month. And that's not really changing the fundamental model. What you really need to do is really need to think of what is it that you're really after. Is it really about dishwashers? Is it really about clean food, clean plates, clean forks? Is it really about the washing machine, or is it really about having clean clothing? And so when you think about it this way, you can reinvent. Companies like Whirlpool or GE, they really only deal with their customers once every 7 years or so when they buy a new product. And so these manufacturers are realizing we're in like 70% of the households in the US, and we should be able to collect information about people and understand what do they do, how often do they eat, how often are they cooking, how often do they use their microwave, how often do they wash their clothes, and think about a whole different service. So imagine instead of having a washing machine, it's a smart washing machine. It knows how often you're using it. When you run out of detergent, detergent simply shows up in the mail. It knows that you just had a child, so you're going to be using it more often. It actually adjusts to your needs. The biggest companies in the world today have a significant advantage because they have the customers. Caterpillar is a company that does over $40–50 billion a year, selling tractors, selling engines. And they're realizing that we have 2 million of these devices, these assets, if you will, in the field, and over half of them are collecting data and communicating to services in the cloud. We can reinvent what we do. Why should we have our customers deal with these tractors? Why don't we have our customers simply come to us and say, I've got a plot of land, and I need to reshape it, perhaps I'm building a golf course, and we can send the drones out, we can do the aerial mapping, we can then send it into these self-driving tractors, and our customers simply pay us based on tons of earth moved. How far can this business model go? Can this really go to the entire economy? And early on in the company's history, we used to sit around late at night and just kind of brainstorm and say, well, how about concrete? Can I subscribe to concrete? Years later, we actually saw a company that sells floors, concrete, wood, tile. And they said, well, it's not really about selling the floor as a subscription, it's about reinventing the floor as a smart floor. And so what they do is they put sensors underneath the floors, and the sensors can collect a whole bunch of data. Instead of just buying the floor, you're buying the whole system. They're selling to hospitals to figure out when patients are falling off their bed. They're selling to retail stores to see what foot traffic is like in their stores. They're selling to governments and municipal departments to see what pedestrian traffic is like in high-density areas. The whole point is not about taking your existing product today and trying to get people to rent it. It's about understanding what customers really want and then using today's technology to reinvent an outcome or an experience for the customer that's much, much better than what they get today simply from the product itself.